Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, Ophiuchus, let's go ahead and jump on in. Ophiuchus, this is it's been a bumpy week. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. I have not been able to put out hardly any videos at all this week because of some YouTube glitches that were impacting my channel. So, anyway, today it looks like that has turned around, and I'm so hopeful that it stays this way so we can get back on track. So, thanks for staying with me, guys, throughout some real bumpy times. This has been actually several weeks of some problems, but this week was really bumpy. So, we're looking at what's hidden right now from Ophiuchus. And we've got the death and rebirth followed by the Five of Swords. This energy makes it look like there is an ending. An ending, though, that Ophiuchus is unaware of. This could be somebody who's had a fight with Ophiuchus, but they've also had a fight with somebody else. This could be something that Ophiuchus is like completely like either somebody is wrecking their own reputation and it's like, oh wow, so I'm not the only one who's, had some kind of cross words with this person. We have Seven of Pentacles. I don't know. What is this about? This is something long term. This is Strength card. Let me get a few more cards before we start committing to what the storyline is here, because we can see somebody had an argument, and Ophiuchus doesn't know about this, but it changed the dynamics. It either ended a long-term connection for this possibly masculine. Empress, Tower, Page of Swords. Okay. Let me think. Who else is it that got this? I want to say it might have been Pisces. And I'm about to say something that I may have said in Pisces storyline, which is I feel like we may have a masculine that was in a long-term commitment, maybe married to an empress. That marriage is ending because either she found out that they have been keeping tabs on Ophiuchus, and this could be somebody who already lost Ophiuchus as well. We got two feminines, both of whom have walked away. I'm wondering if Ophiuchus left first, and then they have still been hooked on Ophiuchus. I feel like they may have a lot of respect for Ophiuchus, also for walking away from them, ironically, but they have never stopped feeling the feels for Ophiuchus. This could be one of those situations where it's like Ophiuchus was the love of their life. It doesn't matter how their life went in a different direction. They lost Ophiuchus, they moved on, they married somebody, but that somebody is realizing, it looks to me kind of like Ophiuchus was the love of your life, not me. So what the heck are you doing with me? An Empress would make that move. An Empress would be like, if you're still in love with somebody else, then don't waste my good time. Thank you very much. I only want to be with somebody who wants to be with me 100%. And if I get this, catch this wind that you're hung up on Ophiuchus, maybe you need to bounce. No, let me save you the trouble. I'll bounce. That's what this looks like. It looks like somebody has had a long-term hang up on Ophiuchus, and it's been found out. That's what it looks like. So it is what it is. It is what it is. We have Two of Swords upright. That Two of Swords. Guys, thanks for being here. TK, you want Gemini? I will get you a Gemini, sweetheart. I will get you a Gemini tonight. You got it. You guys are kind enough to let me know that that's what you're waiting on. I'll get you guys a Gemini. Thank you, hon. Oh, Lanier, Maya. Yeah, Ophiuchus is actually the 13th zodiac. Ophiuchus is actually one of the, it's not just 12 zodiacs that the sun transits through. The sun actually transits through 13, although they didn't choose to acknowledge it. Although I think it spends just a little bit more time. The sun spends a little bit more time in Ophiuchus than it does in Scorpio. But in any case, this Two of Swords, Ophiuchus definitely doesn't know anything about this. Ophiuchus probably would not have done any spying on this person or looked back at all. I think that the Empress probably knows that Ophiuchus is not the cause of this. Ophiuchus has not been, secretly trying to contact this person or get something cooking from the past. I think the Empress probably looked into it and was like, dude, Ophiuchus isn't even hunting you down. Like, but you can't let them go. But I can let you go. Yeah, 10 of coins in the reverse. Okay, so there is a significant fracture in a long-term relationship with an Empress and whomever this, I'm going to say this masculine is. Please don't, I don't read for gender, so this could always be all same sex or reverse gender roles, does not matter. But we certainly see him going, oh my God, I blew it with Ophiuchus. Now I blew it with the Empress over Ophiuchus. I mean, this is like lightning strikes twice. I don't know what this person is doing, but they seem hung up on Ophiuchus. Why have you been hung up on Ophiuchus all this time? Because Ophiuchus is the one I was supposed to marry with that emperor. And with the Page of Coins, Ophiuchus is the one I was supposed to marry, and they were also the one that I always felt this connection to. And I wrote to them, but maybe never sent it. That's what it looks like. So this could have been a way bigger deal. This could have been like they were about to write some love letter to Ophiuchus. The Empress sees it. It was an unsent message, but they clearly were thinking about reaching out, even if they didn't reach out. Or maybe they did, and maybe Ophiuchus didn't respond. I don't know, but Empress definitely found out. 6 of Wands. If they did send something out to Ophiuchus, they actually really did think they were going to hear back from Ophiuchus. They felt like that was a good idea. They did that. Hang on. Ophiuchus, do you think about this person? I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just like, whoa. Okay, Knight of Cups. Ophiuchus is like, yeah, they reached out to me, maybe even like on a wintry day. But it could also be that Ophiuchus is like, yeah, they kind of like reach out and, you know, play like their sad love song for me a little bit. We have the 2 of Pentacles. And Ophiuchus might have been like kind of confused. Like, I'm not sure what they really wanted. Were they hoping that I was going to be like, oh, thank goodness you still think of me? You know, are you trying to say that you want to come see me? Are you trying to like warm me back up to you? Ophiuchus, did you respond to them? Or is this something that's still on the horizon? Maybe Ophiuchus hasn't got this message yet, but it's coming. Prince of Wands. Prince of Wands is like Ophiuchus figures that they are just sending out the smoke signal of like testing the waters. If they could come and see Ophiuchus, they'd like to. Ophiuchus does not take this person very serious from what I can tell. Ophiuchus thinks or thought, I think this is just a, like they want to maybe get a night with me or something. Ace of Swords sideways. Yeah, I think Ophiuchus doesn't take this person serious because I don't think that they have like a very serious nature. There's never something that Ophiuchus seems like they're very truthful about or that they're very clear on. And I don't see Ophiuchus like putting a ton of energy into this with this person. I don't think Ophiuchus knows that they just blew it with the Empress. Let me ask, Ophiuchus, did you have any inkling that this person maybe had some other relationship? Ophiuchus is like, I won't be surprised. We got the Justice card. Yeah, they make that's how they move. They have a tendency to not be on the up and up. Okay, so I don't see that Ophiuchus thinks that this person is so great. It feels like I would assume that they do somebody else dirty because I know that about them. I know that they tend to either move impulsively or they try to get what they want first, last, and always. I don't think Ophiuchus has a great opinion of this person. So at this point, behind the scenes, yes, they may be getting, you know, not maybe, in this storyline, and remember these are fictional, they indeed are being kicked to the curb. A long-term relationship is over at this point. They've reached out, I think, to Ophiuchus, and Ophiuchus doesn't seem to be taking the bait. So I don't know. Character, what is it really that you wanted from Ophiuchus? You said Ophiuchus was a person I should have married. The Lovers, the 8 of Wands. Yes, they want back in Ophiuchus's life. They remember all the good times. They remember everything. And they feel like Ophiuchus was the missed opportunity. Ophiuchus was the one. Ophiuchus is who they wanted to be with, still want to be with. Always did. Then why didn't you leave the Empress or break things off there first? 6 of Swords. They're like, well, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Well, that's what you're doing now. They're saying I was moving on. I don't think that this person does things in very complete ways, huh? It seems like they are messy everywhere they go. It seems like maybe that's why there's fights. Why did you lose Ophiuchus, character? Why did you lose Ophiuchus in your own words? Five of Swords, which is literally this card, right? Five of Swords, only this time sideways. But look, they're a chess player. That I could see this person being someone who manipulates things to their greatest advantage. And they're like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. What were you chess playing back in the day with Ophiuchus? Was it with another person, or were you just not sure about what you were doing with Ophiuchus? Seven of Wands. That's obstacles. This person has like a big old ring in their tongue. It's more like a door knocker, or like the image of like Green Man, which is like the image of, someone who represents like springtime and growth. We see it all over in like gardens in England and Mediterranean, and it's in the US too. But there's some symbolism on this card is what I'm getting at. Knight of Coins. What they were chess playing or slow walking or kind of low-key manipulating in the past with Ophiuchus seems to have been, maybe they didn't want to grow up. They wanted to buy themselves more time. They may have really wanted to keep Ophiuchus but not make anything more serious. Not turn, maybe they didn't even want to like label the connection, label the relationship. Maybe this person wants like Peter Pan energy, like I always want to be, youthful and never grow up. We've seen them as Ophiuchus thinking that they are two different knights, right? And we've seen them themselves having acted like a knight with Ophiuchus once upon a time and wanting to move really, really slow with Ophiuchus. And maybe they tried to not admit that. And that's why we had the Five of Swords sideways. Like they were, I don't know, it seemed like they played games, and I think they were because they were slow walking everything. And yet now they're saying Ophiuchus is one I should have married. I wanted to even marry. And I would agree that that is probably absolutely true, simply because the Knight of Pentacles is the person who knows what castle they want to end up in. And they have every intention of getting there, but they're going to move real slow to get there. They're the only knight that ever finishes the journey, though. So I do believe it was true. They wanted to marry Ophiuchus. Then why'd you end up with an Empress? Sorry. Temperance. They thought it would be a good move. They thought it would work. Maybe they also wanted to balance something in their life. Maybe they missed Ophiuchus and they substituted with someone else to see if they could move on and be happy. I don't know. Pretty poor idea when you should have maybe just fixed things with Ophiuchus or tried your damnedest to do it. But Queen of Pentacles, I don't know. Here's the one thing, and I wouldn't normally say this because it's not like I believed in this, but it comes up in this story, so I'll mention it anyway, even though I can't say that I'm behind the statement I'm about to make. But maybe they needed to learn how to grow up by being in a grown-up relationship, because they blew that opportunity with Ophiuchus. But if they were ever going to like get any experience as a grown-up, I mean, Ophiuchus said, I'm done with you. You're not trying to build with me. Maybe they had to learn how to grow up. The only problem is it still looks like they picked somebody that would give a lot to them. So I don't know. And certainly the way they've handled things still doesn't look like much of a grown-up, but I will say they have some greater comprehension of wanting to be an emperor. They have some greater comprehension. So that relationship that they did choose, although not the right one, it seems like they've had some kind of growth. Although if they piss off the Empress enough to make her leave them because it turns out they found out you're still in love with Ophiuchus, I can't say that sounds like a very mature way to end anything or move on. So I don't know. This person still seems like they're all over the place. Ophiuchus says they're not somebody who does things on the up and up. They are somebody who will do you wrong with that Justice card. I would not disagree with that. Final message in all this. Three of Swords. For what it's worth, Ophiuchus, They loved Ophiuchus as much as maybe an immature individual who did know Ophiuchus was the one that they wanted, always did. They have been brokenhearted. They broke their own heart in regards to Ophiuchus. They will always want Ophiuchus. There isn't anybody else that walks this earth that they will feel this way about. They will most likely try to reach out to Ophiuchus. We see the hand. It does not mean that Ophiuchus is going to take them back. It just simply is what it is. Behind the scenes, Ophiuchus was the one, will always be the one for them. It doesn't mean that they're mature enough to warrant being with Ophiuchus or that they have earned some right to come back into Ophiuchus's life, but I would not at all be surprised that this character is going to be attempting to get into Ophiuchus's life. But again, it's they're footless and fancy free because they got kicked to the curb, but they didn't care because they were already ready to exit. But it's always been Ophiuchus for them, always will be. So whatever Ophiuchus is going to do with this character, I don't know, but we see that. We see that here. You guys, thank you so much. You guys are so adorable. Mariah, yes, we will get to a Gemini right after this, okay? Annette Summersby, so good to see you, Angel. Excuse me, guys. NH, you're adorable. Lanier Maya, thank you again, love. Verhita Beauty, TK, is my pleasure, hon. All right, you guys, I'll see you in just a minute in Geminis. And thank you guys for hanging with me. Sending you lots of love. Bye.